At first, it was just a dull ache in her lower back, mild enough to ignore, easy enough to blame on age or a long day. But over the weeks, it crept into her hips, then down her legs. By the time Margaret, 68, finally saw a doctor, she learned that what she thought was just normal aging pain was actually a compressed nerve, and waiting had made things worse. This happens more often than you think. After 60, our bodies begin to whisper warning signs before they start shouting. The challenge? Most people shrug these signals off. We chalk it up to just getting older, when in reality, the body is trying to tell us something important. Pain isn't always just pain. It's a signal, a message that something deeper may be going on. Whether it's a persistent ache in your shoulders, a sharp pain in your knees, or strange tension in your chest, ignoring it can lead to bigger problems, from joint damage to heart complications. In today's video, we're breaking down 5 specific types of body pain that should never be ignored after 60. These aren't just common complaints. They're red flags that could save your life, or at least protect your independence and mobility. If you've ever pushed through discomfort thinking, it'll pass, this is for you. Because sometimes listening to your body is the most powerful health decision you can make. 1. Chest discomfort, when pain could be a cry from your heart. It started with what Alan thought was indigestion, a dull pressure in the center of his chest, almost like he'd eaten too much too fast. He brushed it off, took an antacid, and continued with his day. But later that week, the same pressure returned, this time spreading to his shoulder and down his arm. Still, he hesitated to do anything about it. It's probably nothing, he told himself. But what Alan didn't know was that his body was sending a warning. Not dramatic, not loud, just a quiet, persistent cry for attention from his heart. Chest discomfort is one of the most overlooked and misunderstood warning signs in seniors. People expect a heart attack to feel like a sharp pain or sudden collapse. But more often it starts subtly. A feeling of tightness, pressure, a burning sensation behind the breastbone. Sometimes it's mistaken for heartburn. Sometimes it's just a nagging ache. For those over 60, the risk is real. The heart becomes more vulnerable with age, especially if other conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol are present. Ignoring those signs even for a day can mean the difference between getting timely help or facing a life-altering emergency. Take Ruth, a 67-year-old widow who thought she just needed a rest. She'd been feeling a strange pressure in her chest for a few days, but didn't want to bother anyone. One morning, her son insisted she go to the ER. They discovered she'd had a mild heart attack. The doctors told her if she had waited another day, things could have been much worse. The lesson? Don't minimize chest discomfort. If it comes with shortness of breath, fatigue, pain in the jaw, neck, or back, or if it feels different than anything you've experienced before, it's time to call your doctor. Even if it turns out to be nothing serious, it's better to be safe than silent, because your heart doesn't shout, it whispers. 2. Lower back pain, the silent threat to independence. It started slowly for Margaret. She was 72, active, and still enjoyed tending her garden every morning. But then came a dull ache in her lower back. Nothing sharp, just enough to make her pause while reaching for her watering can. She thought maybe she slept wrong, but the ache kept returning. Then came the stiffness, then the hesitation before bending, and eventually, she stopped gardening altogether. This is how lower back pain quietly steals your freedom, not with a sudden injury, but through slow, creeping discomfort that grows until it controls how you live your day. For seniors, lower back pain is incredibly common and incredibly dangerous when left unchecked. It isn't just about soreness, it's about how that pain limits movement, weakens muscles, and leads to loss of balance, falls, and even long-term disability. What starts as a simple twinge can quickly spiral into a life where standing too long, walking, or even getting out of bed feels like a chore. Many people chalk it up to just getting older, and they learn to live with the pain instead of addressing it. But ignoring it only makes it worse. Muscles weaken from lack of use, joints stiffen, and posture deteriorates, causing even more pain and limiting mobility. Take George, for example. At 68, he stopped walking his dog because of back discomfort. A few months later, he noticed he was hunching more and feeling off balance. His doctor later told him that avoiding activity had accelerated muscle loss and that his risk of falling had significantly increased. The good news, it's not too late to take action. Gentle stretching, strengthening your core, maintaining healthy posture, and using heat therapy or physical therapy can all help manage lower back pain. And staying active, carefully and consistently, keeps your spine supported and your independence intact. Because when your back gives out, it's not just about pain, it's about the life it holds up. Up next, let's look at a type of pain many ignore because it seems small, but it could be a major signal. Joint pain in the knees and hips. Third knee or joint pain. That worsens with time. For years, Robert brushed off his knee pain. He'd been a factory worker most of his life, and to him, aching joints were just part of the deal. "It's just wear and tear," he used to say with a chuckle, reaching for another over-the-counter painkiller. But what started as a mild discomfort going upstairs eventually became a deep, grinding pain that made walking across the room feel like a marathon. He found himself avoiding long walks, skipping family outings, and depending on his cane more than he ever thought he would. The truth is, joint pain, especially in the knees, isn't just an inconvenience. It's a warning sign. And if it keeps getting worse, it's your body telling you that the damage is progressing beneath the surface. Knee pain in particular is often tied to osteoarthritis, which affects millions of seniors. The cartilage that cushions your joints wears down over time, and without that cushion, every step feels like bone grinding on bone. If left unaddressed, it doesn't just lead to more pain, it leads to muscle weakness, reduced mobility, and eventually a reliance on walkers or wheelchairs. And the heartbreaking part? Most of it is preventable, or at least manageable, when caught early. Think of Ellen, 66, who started experiencing stiffness in her hips and knees. Instead of brushing it off, she spoke to her doctor and started physical therapy. With targeted exercises and a few lifestyle changes, her pain lessened. She regained strength. Today, she walks a mile every morning and says it saved her from growing old before her time. If your joints are speaking up, don't silence them. Gentle stretching, anti-inflammatory foods, maintaining a healthy weight, and low-impact exercises like swimming or Tai Chi can make a world of difference. Because when your knees begin to give in, it's not just about mobility, it's about protecting the freedom to live life fully. Now let's move on to another pain that often gets brushed off as minor, but can be a sign of something much more serious. Persistent headaches that just won't go away. Fourth, sudden headaches or neck pain. A signal you can't afford to miss. Margaret was 72 when it happened. She'd been reading in her recliner when a sharp, throbbing pain suddenly shot through the back of her head and down into her neck. It wasn't like her usual tension headaches. It felt heavier, more intense. Maybe I slept wrong, she thought. She took a couple of painkillers and went to bed. The next morning, the pain was still there, and this time she noticed her vision was slightly blurry and she felt off balance. What Margaret didn't know was that she was experiencing the early signs of a small vessel stroke, something that could have turned life-threatening had she waited much longer. Sudden, severe headaches, especially when paired with neck pain, aren't always just stress or poor posture. For seniors, these symptoms can be early warning signs of a deeper issue. High blood pressure complications, vascular problems, nerve compression, or even signs of a brain aneurysm. And here's what makes it dangerous. Many seniors chalk it up to just part of aging. But when your body starts sending signals like this, especially if the pain comes on suddenly, is accompanied by nausea, dizziness, or vision changes, it's time to act, not wait. Neck pain that radiates upward or headaches that don't respond to usual treatments should never be ignored. The neck is home to critical nerves, arteries, and muscles that affect everything from balance to blood flow to the brain. A compressed artery or pinched nerve in the cervical spine can trigger not only pain, but potentially life-altering events if left unaddressed. Think of Tom, 68, who began experiencing neck stiffness that turned into migraines. After weeks of enduring it, he finally saw a neurologist, only to discover he had cervical spine narrowing pressing against key nerves. With treatment, the headache stopped, and so did the fear that something worse might happen. Your body whispers before it screams. When the whisper comes as sharp pain in your head or neck, don't wait for the shout. Next, let's talk about a pain that creeps in quietly, but over time can drain your energy and even affect your mood: ongoing abdominal discomfort. 5. Numbness or tingling in hands and feet. Not just a circulation issue. Frank, a 69-year-old retired mechanic, noticed something odd during his morning walks. At first, it was just a mild tingling in his toes, like they'd fallen asleep. But over the next few weeks, the sensation spread. Some mornings he couldn't feel the ground beneath his feet. He figured it was just bad circulation and blamed it on aging. But when he started dropping tools because his fingers wouldn't grip like they used to, he finally scheduled a doctor's visit. The diagnosis? Early-stage peripheral neuropathy, a condition that affects the nerves outside the brain and spinal cord. And in Frank's case, it was linked to prediabetes he didn't even know he had. Many seniors experience numbness, tingling, or that pins and needles feeling in their hands or feet. It's easy to brush off as poor circulation or sitting the wrong way. But when it becomes frequent, persistent, or starts interfering with your daily life, it could be a sign of something much more serious, like nerve damage, diabetes, vitamin deficiencies, or even spinal issues. These symptoms may seem harmless at first, but left unchecked, they can progress to pain, weakness, or a total loss of sensation. And when you can't feel your feet properly, the risk of falls, infections, and unnoticed injuries increases dramatically. That's especially dangerous for those with diabetes or other chronic conditions. And it's not just physical, it can take an emotional toll too. Losing confidence in your ability to walk, hold objects, or even write can make you feel like you're slowly losing independence. That fear, it's real, and it deserves attention. If you're feeling frequent tingling, numbness, or unexplained weakness in your extremities, don't ignore it. Your body may be trying to flag a bigger issue before it becomes irreversible. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with a powerful reflection, because recognizing these pain signals is just the first step. Acting on them is what truly protects your future. Final thoughts. As we wrap up, take a moment to reflect. Pain isn't just discomfort, it's your body's language. And after 60, that language becomes more important than ever. Every ache, every numb sensation, every twinge, it might be trying to tell you something vital, something that, if ignored, could cost you your mobility, your independence, or even your life. From chest discomfort that could signal heart trouble, to numbness in your feet that points to nerve damage, these aren't just normal parts of aging. They're warning signs, and they deserve your attention. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. You've taken the first step by learning what to look out for. Now the next step is yours. Pay attention, act early, and never be afraid to ask questions when something doesn't feel right. Because your health is your freedom, and protecting it is one of the most powerful gifts you can give to yourself and to the people who love you. If this video helped you better understand your body's warning signs or made you think twice about a pain you've been ignoring, let us know in the comments. Share your experience. It might help someone else recognize a sign they've been overlooking. And if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss important health updates designed just for you. Your support helps us keep creating meaningful content that informs, empowers, and uplifts. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.